So with E3 talks about Bethesda kind of gaining some traction now, and over the next few weeks we get the inevitable leaks, if you want to call them that, or just people making up information to post on the internet, some of it maybe not being made up as we've seen in the past. But either way, I kind of wanted to make this video before all of that went on. This is a video I've been thinking about making for a while, and it's going to be around the conspiracy theory that kind of was created by Bethesda's 2017 E3 press conference and some of the leaks that did precede it. So basically what's going on is there's a subset of the community that does believe Bethesda was intending to announce Starfield at E3 2017, but did not for whatever reason. Maybe it was just too early, they weren't going to release it that year, and it will actually be announced now in E3 2018. As with any conspiracy theory or theory like this, there's going to be some plausible facts out there, as well as some things that maybe are just of interest somewhere in the middle, and then things that hypothetically disprove this. In today's video, I want to look at some of these different things, why people feel this way, and how I kind of feel about the whole situation. So starting things off, this pretty much all started with the Starfield trademark. In April of 2016, there was a filing for this trademark for what would be hypothetically a video game name based on the categories the trademark was applied for something called Starfield. It was filed by ZeniMax, who is the parent company of Bethesda and Bethesda Game Studios, and a lot of people are speculating that this is going to be the next Bethesda game because, in addition, they later on mentioned how they're working on new IPs. They specifically mentioned 2 new IPs and that they would be coming out before the next Elder Scrolls game. Doesn't mean they can't release a new Fallout game, but we definitely know a new game that we've never seen before from Bethesda will come out before the Elder Scrolls 6. Then we had the big 4chan leak. This was something that was leading up to Bethesda's E3 conference in 2017. Some guy in 4chan claiming to have worked at Bethesda or know someone, something like that, posted a bunch of details about what they'd be announcing at that conference, as well as some of the details about Starfield itself. I will have this hypothetical leak linked down below. Within that, there were some various details shared about what Starfield would be all about. He said it was going to be a creation engine game, so it would have mod support, and that was the main reason they were staying on the older engine. But even beyond that, it would be an updated version. It would have a lot more weapon customizability than even Fallout 4, and feature a significantly improved version of the settlement mode where you can actually create different colonies on different planets, and of course travel from planet to planet. One thing that a lot of news outlets picked up for whatever reason is he actually mentioned that all 3 franchises, that being Starfield, Fallout, and the Elder Scrolls, take place in the same universe. Fallout 4 is the starting point, in the future would be Starfield, and then in the far future would be the Elder Scrolls. That's kind of interesting because logically you would think the Elder Scrolls would be in the far past, not in the far future, but either way, something to note. In the rest of the post, he largely just talked about the E3 conference itself. He said you'd see maybe some Fallout VR and some other VR titles, and he responded to a bunch of people's questions about future Elder Scrolls games and some of the current franchises, but nothing super interesting. One of the main takeaways from that, though, was Starfield was going to be the main showcase at Bethesda's conference. That was going to be like the big thing, the big announcement. And this is kind of where we get into the conspiracy territory, or how this conspiracy developed. If you actually watched Bethesda's 2017 E3 conference, it looked like that was all going to be very true. I actually did a live stream covering this, and the loading screen had stars, it had space, a spaceship flying over, and the whole theme of the conference was space. The weird part of that being there was no real space games announced. I mean, there was some stuff about Prey, but it was never really explained as to why they went with that theme, especially when it was conflicting with the whole Bethesda Land thing that they also had going on, which is more of a theme park. It really seemed like that was just going to be a tease throughout the whole show for the final announcement of Starfield. A lot of people think that was the original plan, hence the theme throughout the show. Again, this is where we get into the conspiracy territory. Whether you believe this or not is up to you. But more or less, this guy's prediction was right, but it was changed fairly last minute, and Bethesda decided for whatever reason to not actually announce Starfield. The idea being this also coincides with the reason the conference was so lackluster. If you watched Bethesda's 2017 E3 conference, after the end you're like, wait, that's it? That was all you wanted to announce here? I remember I stayed up till like 1 or 2 a.m. for that thing, and I was pretty pissed about it. So that's largely the conspiracy theory. The trademark was filed, people thought a new game was coming, this guy leaked information about a supposed game, the E3 conference had a theme that was similar to the theme of that game, but then the E3 conference was super lackluster and no game was announced, which means that that game must have been cut from that conference, but everything the guy said is true. One of the big reasons I wanted to make this video is I feel like it's important to keep this in the back of your head as we go into this E3 season, and again, all the leaks that will invariably come out over the next few weeks and months. Whether you buy this conspiracy or you don't, that's to each their own, but I'm going to give you my opinion, and I think it's totally false. I think everything I kind of mentioned throughout this whole video is very plausible. Yeah, it's like super circumstantial and totally could not be true, but I don't know, it was kind of weird watching it and seeing that star theme. It didn't really make sense as to why there was a space theme, but no real space games. That's obviously just my own opinion. Maybe Bethesda just liked the look of space. They thought it was fitting. But in reality, the reason I feel like this conspiracy theory is BS is Creation Club. One of the larger announcements towards the end of E3 2017 was Creation Club. Bethesda was bringing back paid mods or add-ons or mini DLCs, whatever you want to call them, for Fallout 4. In this guy's original leak on 4chan, people actually asked him questions about paid mods, one being about whether or not they would be making a return. And in his response to that, he said there's no way Valve's going to allow Bethesda to actually do their own independent paid mods while Fallout 4 and Skyrim are on Steam. Valve's going to want to cut of that money, and there's no way that's going to be a thing. If this guy actually was an insider at Bethesda Game Studios and knew all these details about Starfield, how did he not know Bethesda was going to do their own thing with paid mods or Creation Club, whatever you want to call it? I just think that thwarts the entire thing here. I actually believe this guy, after the fact, said that Bethesda must have just cut it, but everything he did say otherwise was true. I don't actually have a link to that. The original post is deleted, but there's like an archive of it. Either way, I definitely think it's something interesting. I find these things fun to think about. They make interesting video topics. There are some people that after watching this 100% probably believe that Starfield was to be announced, and maybe Starfield even will be announced this E3. But obviously, I don't believe it to be true as much as I want it to be or how interesting and cool it would be. And with all that being said, we'll just kind of end the video here. But we also do have a psych fun fact of the day. So this one's not as much of a fact as something that I just kind of saw as a common theme as far as learning and human memory goes. More or less, some of the best learning methods or the best memorization methods actually yield the least confidence. So just because you feel super confident going to a test doesn't mean you'll actually remember the material as well as you think you do. Things like the testing effect, so taking tests over and over again is a really good way to learn, or flashcards, a similar version of the testing effect, will make it so you remember that information noticeably better for a test, but you feel less confident going in than just reading words off a page. It's just kind of an interesting concept or phenomenon that does go on with that. But yeah, again, that's going to be pretty much it for this video. If you guys want to see my full predictions for Bethesda's E3 conference, I actually posted a video on that yesterday, so I will have that linked on screen right now. But otherwise, I thank you guys again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.